Unsung Murder Ballads is a true crime podcast, and as such, we will be discussing topics that are disturbing, graphic, and often violent in nature. So this is not for children under the age of 13.
But you know this because you did start playing this episode. So here are some things you might not know about us.
We are going to be critical of mistakes made by both criminals and law enforcement.
We're going to express our views on things that you might not always agree with.
We will occasionally go on an off-topic tangent.
And we're going to use dark humor to express ourselves now and then.
So if you're easily triggered, this might not be the podcast for you.
However, if this is your cup of tea, then raise your pinky finger while you sip and join us for this week's horrific case, you sick bastards.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsung Murder Ballads. This is episode 154. I am Janus Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
All right, so tonight we are going all the way to South Africa.
Oh, long ways away.
I know, this is our first case outside the U.S. in a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, like, what were we doing?
I don't know.
So one thing I want to say about tonight's case is it reminded me, as I was researching it, about a short story I wrote when I was in high school. And with that said, I was a horror writer. I was a horror fiction writer. And I decided one day, and keep in mind, I was 15 or 16. I didn't really understand the way the world really was, right? So I wrote a story about a woman that was in an abusive relationship that was trying to get out of it. And when I started writing it, I was like, she's going to make it out the other end, but she's going to go through hell to get there. And that was my night.
That sounds like how life works, yeah.
Right. Well, that's just it. As a teenager, I didn't realize that women really went through that kind of shit all the time.
Oh, right. You thought you were writing fiction, but you were actually writing real life.
Right. I was far more naive then, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now as a grown-ass adult, having done 150 episodes of this, I'm like, yeah, that was nothing.
That was like comparatively tame to some of the things we've heard.
Right. And the reason that this episode made me think of that is tonight's episode is brutal. So,
all right, I'm preparing myself.
Yeah, trigger warning, tonight is graphic as fuck.
All right, I have my crochet in hand to soothe me.
You're going to need it. You're definitely going to need it tonight.
I'm going to be stitching tonight. Let's go.
All right, so here's the teaser. And I do want to apologize if I mispronounce names. Again, it is South Africa. I looked them up. I'm going to do my best, but you know how it goes.
I do know how it goes.
It's so hard. So 20-year-old Tiaan Ellard, a veterinary technology student, was on holiday in Port Elizabeth, and he was out with friends celebrating. They were on their way, driving down a deserted road on the outskirts of the town, when they saw something in the middle of the road. They pulled over to check it out, thinking maybe it was a dead animal, or maybe it was a bag with something cool in it. But whatever it was big. And once Tiaan got out of the car, he was shocked. It was a naked woman lying in the road, covered in blood.
Oh, that's fucking harrowing.
When he approached, he saw that her stomach was cut open and there was a large gash across her neck.
Oh.
So this is 1994, and amazingly, one of his friends had a cell phone, which was both
wow.
That was uncommon in the U.S., and I'm assuming even more so in South Africa at the time. So they called emergency services, and at the time the woman was alive but unresponsive.
Wow.
So with that said,
I'm shocked she was alive in that condition.
Well, and here's why I revealed that so early. This is a survivor story. So,
whoa.
Yeah, this woman is going to make it. And again,
wow.
Yeah, and this is graphic. And so I want you to know at every step of the way as we describe things, she makes it.
Wow.
Her strength and resilience is fucking unbelievable.
You know what? I appreciate you starting with that.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I knew if I didn't tell you, I thought about it. I thought about drawing this out. But I also knew that if I did, you would be so angry with me.
Yes, and unnecessarily distressed.
Yes. So again, trigger warning, this does involve graphic and brutal depictions of violence as well as sexual assault, because unfortunately this is one of those cases.
Ugh. All right.
So again,
Stealing myself.
yes, please do. Although to be honest, that's the lesser of it all. Yeah.
Oh no.
So Alison Botha was born in Port Elizabeth on September 22nd, 1967. Her parents were Brian and Claire, and they separated when she was 10 years old. After their separation, Allison and her brother Neil were raised by their mother, which isn't really that uncommon.
Nope.
She achieved the position of head girl at the Collegiate Girls High School in 1985, which I'm guessing was a thing that was like an honor back then, maybe like
It's a
valedictorian.
British thing, I think. They had it in Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
It might be like class president. Listener, feel free to correct us. I
Yeah.
feel like that's what it means.
Yeah, let us know, because I decided to keep it in there because it's one of the few things about her early life I could really find, but I didn't know what it really meant. So
Yeah. I think it's like class president, something like that.
that's what I thought. Like, yeah, head girl, that makes sense. So after school, she studied for a year at the former Port Elizabeth Technicon and then began working. At 21 years old, she traveled overseas where she stayed for years. On returning to South Africa, she took a job as an insurance broker, but this wasn't her dream. But she didn't really know what she wanted to do long term at that point. So as we get to December 18th, 1994, Alison was 27 years old. And it's December, but that's summer in South Africa, being the
Right.
Southern Hemisphere. So she spent the day at the beach and the evening at her house with friends playing games and eating pizza. Towards the end of the night, Alison gave her friend a ride home, as she had been doing her laundry at this friend's house. So it just sort of made sense. I'll bring you home, pick up my laundry, that kind of thing. When Alison picked up her laundry that night, she made it back to her neighborhood. But when she pulled onto her road, she realized that all the parking spots near her place were taken.
I hate that.
I do too. It's such a shitty thing. So she drove
All the
further.
time in my neighborhood. It's
Really?
maddening.
In the winter, because we have the parking bans here in New England,
Oh, right.
I can never park even on the same street I live on in the winter. I'm
Hate
always
it.
walking a good distance. That night, she had to drive further down the road, and all the kind of close ones were also taken. She had to drive down a pretty long way before she found an actual place to park.
And she has her laundry. That sucks.
So as she's getting ready to get out of the car, she reached over to grab her laundry basket when all of a sudden she felt cold metal pressing against her neck. And she realized there was a man standing there holding a knife to her neck.
Jesus.
The man told her to move over into the passenger seat or he would kill her.
Ooh.
So she slides over, and the guy gets into the driver's seat, and he tells her that his name is Clinton. He didn't want to hurt her. He just needed her car for about an hour. So she's sitting there like panicked, but not knowing what to do. And this,
Right. I'm like, okay, have the car. Bye.
yeah, let me out. Let me know when you're done with it, right?
Right. Like, drop off the keys and maybe you can get a better parking spot. Thanks.
That's funny. Well, this Clinton guy started driving away. And like every asshole in a situation like this, he literally just starts asking her if she has a boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Right? Fucking asshole.
Of course. Of course.
So he literally sits there and continues to make small talk with her. And she actually starts to feel more secure about the situation because of that. She's thinking in
Right.
her,
It's like, at this point, it's like maybe she's feeling safer because the guy's like small talk is like a normal people thing to do.
right. And she's thinking in her head, maybe he really just needs the car. She's like,
Right. Like maybe I'll be okay.
right. I mean, that's what you're hoping for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, eventually Clinton pulled over the car and he just sat there. The whole time in silence, they're just sitting there. And at this point, panic starts to creep in on her again. But then the silence was broken as the back door opens and somebody gets inside the back seat.
Uh-oh.
Now she saw another man sitting there, and all her hopes of maybe getting out were just shattered because when she looked at this guy, he had, as she would later describe, cold, dead eyes that sent a shiver down her spine.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you know just looking at him.
She knew in that moment that not only was she in trouble, but these two men didn't want her car. They wanted her.
Yeah. Yup. Yup.
So as she's processing this, Clinton is driving them around the town, and he's driving further and further away from civilization. And he finally stopped the car in an alcove, and then he turned and calmly asked Alison, "Are you going to fight?"
Oh. Oh.
Before
That's awful.
before she could even respond, the man in the back seat got out of the car, leaving Alison alone with this Clinton guy. Alison was forced to perform oral sex on him as well as receive it from him.
Oh, that's awful.
And the whole time, this douchebag is saying shit to her like, "Does your boyfriend do this to you?"
Fucking vile.
So unfortunately,
Just awful.
Clinton then raped Alison in the car.
Ugh.
And then the guy, he finishes up and he gets out and he calls out to the other man. And she heard the other man call Clinton by his real name, which was Franz. She then heard Franz call the dead-eyed man Thunes. So in that moment, she realizes she knows both their first names.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna use their full names right now because I don't want to use their first names throughout this. You know how I like to use the last names for perpetrators.
Mm-hmm.
So their full names are Franz Dutoit and Thunes Kruger. And again, I don't like the casualness of first names for perpetrators. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them.
So Dutoit asked Kruger if he wanted to have sex with the lovely lady.
Ew.
When Kruger responded that he didn't want to have sex with her, he wanted to do something else, and whatever it was he said was really vulgar. And Dutoit got mad at him and told him he couldn't talk about Alison that way.
What the fuck?
Right? Which confused the fuck out of Alison.
Yeah, that would confuse the fuck out of anyone.
Right? It's so weird.
That confuses the fuck out of me.
It's so weird. Like, I think he feels maybe, I mean, he is like, I hate to say this term, but it's like post-nut clarity. Maybe he feels affection towards her afterwards.
I thought the post-nut clarity was the opposite of that.
Is it? I don't know. I always thought that like men after they come think more like women. You know what I mean? Because they don't have sex on their minds.
You know, the way it's been explained to me is that post-nut clarity is that after they have sex with you, they realize, oh, I wasn't even interested in you at all. I was just horny.
Well, that's,
and then they leave.
But that's not, I mean, yes, that's, but I think always thought of
clarity either way.
I was going to say, I always thought of that as more like an hour later, but maybe it's different for each dude. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not a dude, so, you know, what do I know?
You're not?
I know it may come as a surprise to you and the listeners of this podcast, but I am not a dude.
Anyway, so regardless of whatever the fuck that was, Kruger also then raped Alison. Now, afterwards, the men were trying to suffocate and strangle her, but they realized it was harder than it looked in movies.
What the fuck?
Alison was drifting.
It's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard. It's hard to do. Right. But they thought.
No, I'm saying it's not that hard.
But it is when in the movies, it takes them like 2 minutes, at best 2 minutes, and then they're just dead. But they're trying to like strangle her, and she's struggling. She's not dying as quickly as they think it's going to happen.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's what that's what they're thinking. But Alison was drifting in and out of consciousness. And she remembered coming into consciousness when they started stabbing her.
Oh.
Now, unfortunately, she passed out again. And by the time she woke back up, she was unsure how much time had passed. But the men were leaving as she was becoming aware. Like they thought she was dead. and they were leaving, and she's waking up realizing they're leaving.
Wow.
She literally watched as they got back in her car and threw her clothing out the door, because remember, her laundry's in there. And then they drove away, leaving her alone in the night, believing she was dead.
Oh, that's awful.
But in her favor.
Right. I mean, it's good that they thought she was dead because it's the only way she's going to make it out.
Well, Alison laid there, and although she couldn't yet feel any pain, she could hear a gurgling sound as air passed through her severed throat.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to go through the full extent of her injuries later, but for now, I'm only going to give you the information as Alison learns it. So she realized that her breathing, was what was making that gurgling noise, and all she could focus on was the fact that her breathing was really labored, and she was starting to become overcome with despair.
Yeah.
But she knew that her injuries were beyond repair, and she knew she was dying if she did nothing. And she would later say that at this point, she remembered leaving her body, having an out-of-body experience, and she was watching herself laying there dying. And that at that point, all the noises had stopped, and she looked down at herself on the ground, and she realized that she could either leave and move on, or she could go back. She was then suddenly back in her body, and all she could hear was herself breathing through her throat again.
Oh.
Now again, she's in the dirt, and she thought that if she was going to die, she didn't want Dutoit and Kruger to do this to anyone else. So she reached out a bloody arm, and while she's laying there, she wrote their names in the dirt.
Whoa.
She also wrote under their names, "I love Mom," which I get it. Yeah, I was going to say, I get it. It's a weird thing to write, I guess, but she also thought this might be the last message she would ever get to somebody.
Oh.
So after this, some time passes, and she became more aware of her physical state. Now, initially, she couldn't feel much, but feeling was starting to come back to her now.
Yeah, the adrenaline wears off.
And she was becoming aware of a wet feeling by her leg. So she kind of moves her hand around and down by her legs, feeling out what's there. Whatever it is seems to be connected to her stomach, she realizes.
Oh, no.
And as she is kind of continuing to reach around, she realizes that her organs, her intestines, are outside of her stomach.
Oh, my God.
These assholes had disemboweled her.
Oh.
Well, then she
What an
remembered.
insane thing to live to tell the tale.
Oh, just wait.
Oh, my God.
She then remembered that her clothing was nearby. So she's reaching over, and she grabs a denim shirt, and she gathers her insides and starts placing them back in her stomach, and using this shirt and one of her hands, she's holding her guts inside her body.
Holy fuck.
At this point, Alison knows she needs to move, and she can see headlights in the distance, on a road that's not too far away. But she knows she's just far enough out of their range that the chances of someone happening to find her are pretty low. So she knows she's going to move. So she gathers her strength. She pulls her knees to her chest, and she rolls over onto her stomach, all the while still holding everything together, physically.
This is insane.
With one arm, she began dragging herself, but she realizes she's not making any real progress. It's too slow, and she's losing strength with each pull. So Alison forced herself to her feet, all the while holding her guts inside her.
With the amount of blood loss, this is insane.
Once she was on her feet, everything went black around her. Her eyes were wide open, but all she could see was darkness. So Alison instinctively threw her hand up to her eyes, but she couldn't see anything, not even her hand.
Yeah, I'm sure there's not enough blood for her brain to work.
Oh, it's so much weirder than that. So muscle memory had moved her hand where she knows her face should be, but she can't see it. So she's touching like herself, and she realizes that this gash in her throat is massive. Like she's literally put her fingers inside her neck.
Oh my God.
Now, shockingly, she comes to realize that the reason everything is black and she could only see darkness was because her head had fallen backwards near her shoulder blades. She was looking at the night sky.
What the fuck?
They had severed her neck muscles so deep that she couldn't keep her head upright when she stood, and it had fallen backwards.
You're saying things, and I can't believe this is real.
This is true life, true to life. This is a real fucking event. Crazy, I know.
Wolf.
Yeah. So Alison then had to use one hand to hold in her organs and the other one to right her head back on her shoulders so that she could walk forward towards the road.
This is unbelievable.
I know, it sounds like fiction. It is not. Alison doesn't remember how she got to the road, but she did. And once she was there, she immediately fell, like just collapsed. And while she's there, she can hear a car approaching. But at this point, she's now suddenly filled with fear. Because previously it hadn't occurred to her that maybe Dutoit and Kruger might come back for her.
Oh.
However, it was not the men. This car approached.
Thank God.
This car approached, but only stopped for about a second and then sped off.
What?
Yeah. But you got to understand, at this point, she must be a terrifying sight to behold.
Yeah.
She's naked, bloody. Her insides are being held in. She's got a slit throat. I can see people not wanting to get involved, and especially this is South Africa in the 90s. Who the hell knows?
I guess they're assuming she's already dead.
Yeah, there's that, but who knows what the laws are and what might have, especially if you yourself are a criminal or doing something stupid, you're not going to stop and call the cops. It's crazy.
Right, or you're worried that whoever harmed this person is going to get you if you don't get away.
There's that too, exactly. So I don't really blame them for not wanting to stop, but assholes the same.
Yeah.
However, when a second car pulled up, they came to a slow stop, and this time people got out. They ran over and they observed her condition. Now, Alison's eyes were open, but she couldn't speak to them, and she wasn't really responsive, but she was alive. So the one man that we mentioned earlier, Tiani Ellard, he stopped there and he was holding her hand and he was using his shirt to try to stop her bleeding.
Wow.
Now, they called for an ambulance, but even though the hospital was only 15 minutes away, it took them 40 minutes to get there.
What?
And this guy, Tiani, was there with her the whole time.
That is insane.
And all told, it's only been about 90 minutes since she was abducted.
Whoa.
Fucking crazy.
That is absolutely insane.
Now, Tiani only let go of Alison's hand once she was taken to the hospital. He had literally stayed there the whole time to protect her. And that moment changed him forever. We will return to his story a little later on, but this man was fucking awesome. So the doctors finally get to look at Alison in the hospital, and they're just stunned by the brutality of the attack. And this is where we're going to discuss the exact wounds that she suffered.
Okay.
The wound on her neck was large and expanded from ear to ear. Her neck muscles and trachea had been severed completely through. There were a total of 17 slashes to her throat alone.
What the fuck?
And what she was breathing through was actually a gaping hole that came in above her collarbone.
Oh my God.
Fucking nuts. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
For 40 minutes laying there.
Breathing through a tiny hole over your collarbone. Now, Dutoit and Kruger had also stabbed her in the abdomen and pubic area 37 times. And as I said, they had completely disemboweled her, removing organs and leaving them in the dirt.
Oh.
Now, the hospital called in a doctor named Dmitry Angelov to perform the surgery. They carefully cleaned and scrubbed her intestines, and then they rebuilt her abdomen and replaced everything and stitched it up.
Whoa.
She was in surgery that lasted almost 20 hours.
That makes that there's a lot to do.
Yeah, and that they
That's like a
obviously worked on her
Full
neck.
reconstruction of everything.
Now, one doctor explained why she survived this way. He said the blood vessels in Alison's neck were somehow untouched despite everything else being obliterated.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's nuts. He said this meant there was a continued supply of blood from and to her brain, and that everything that moved down her neck to supply her organs, like nerves and things, were also untouched.
Crazy.
He said none of her stab wounds touched her heart or lungs, which is practically a miracle.
Yeah.
He said the injury to her abdomen, the stomach area, that big hole that her intestines came out of, was somehow not infected despite all the dirt and other debris that were around her at the time.
Whoa.
Literally, and I don't know if this is his quote or someone else's, but the quote I heard that I kept because it was just so good was that she had been stabbed and slashed in all the right places. Meaning she survived. Fucking
Like
crazy.
all the ways to not die. It's crazy.
It's absolutely nuts. The police were obviously called in and informed about the attempted murder and rape. Now, because Alison survived and she knew their names, being Franz and Thunes, police already had something to work with. And they already knew a guy by the name of Franz Dutoit from a previous rape case.
Repeat offender. Great.
Oh, just wait. You're going to be so pissed.
Ugh.
So they gave Alison a book of photos. And one of those photos in that book, of course, was Dutoit. When Alison came to his picture, she frantically scribbled the name on a piece of paper. Now, she couldn't talk because literally
Right.
she doesn't have a trachea at this point, but she could write. And police knew that Dutoit had a known associate named Kruger. So,
Well,
yeah,
pretty obvious.
so they go and pick these two up for questioning. This is the first thing that's going to piss you off. Investigators were satisfied with Alison's ability to ID the two, but the chief prosecutor told police that although he acknowledged that her written identification of these guys was good, he needed her to verbalize it.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes. So Alison,
Oh, I'm fucking pissed.
Alison at this point had a tube running down her throat into her lungs to supply air while her
Where
trachea
you have to be
was healing.
intubated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order for her to speak, the tube would have to be removed. But removing it might jeopardize the work that the doctors had just spent, a day doing.
Yeah, extubating is really dangerous and it can fuck up your shit even worse.
When Alison was told that the prosecutors needed her to verbalize what she had written, she immediately wrote on a piece of paper, "Take the tube out."
Wow.
So
There's just no fucking reason why she would have to say it instead of writing it. There's just no fucking goddamn reason. I'm so pissed.
I know, South Africa, 1994. That's the only answer I have for you on that one.
There's just never any reason. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, it's so fucked up. It's like, if she could write the names, then she can say the names. Why do that?
There's
You know?
literally, I can't even think of a bullshit reason.
It's kind of like when they try to intimidate witnesses. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe we'll make her so uncomfortable she won't do it, and then we won't have to go through this prosecution.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can come up with.
I hate it. Hate it.
So the doctors removed the tube, and Alison clarified that her attackers were, in fact, Franz and Thunes. Now, for Alison, the physical recovery was painful, and she has stated to this day that she has ongoing pain because of this attack, which I can only imagine.
Oh, I'm sure. Never ending chronic pain.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Now, she remembered she had to document her injuries as they healed. So she had to keep returning to the hospital and taking her clothes off over and over again in front of different people so they could look at her and take photos. Yeah.
Awful. Ooh.
And one of the saddest things in this is that her attackers were stabbing her purposefully, like attacking her reproductive organs.
So fucked up. Oh.
Yeah. Now, prior to her, there had been 2 other women that were attacked and raped by Dutoit and Kruger.
Oh.
During those attacks, the 2 had threatened these women that they would kill them if they reported them to the police. Now, both women, thankfully, didn't keep to themselves. They contacted the cops.
Good.
But it was after those arrests that Dutoit and Kruger decided that their next victim would have to be killed.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of learned the wrong lesson there.
Yep.
So when police told Dutoit that he was being charged with attempted murder, he was quite confused because he believed Alison was dead when he left her there. So he then...
Wow.
Yeah, right? He reportedly said, quote, "Well, there's nothing to hide from you because she's going to tell you everything we did," unquote. Yeah. He then took a ring off of his pinky finger and handed it to police, telling them that it was Alison's and that she could have it back.
Oh.
Yeah. What a dick. Now, police were able to take that ring and match blood that was found on it to Alison, so it became yet another piece of evidence.
Great. Okay. So we have irrefutable evidence.
Although Dutoit and Kruger agreed to plead guilty, police knew that they could change their mind, and they actually did their jobs. They collected DNA. They went back to the crime scene to collect evidence. They wanted to do everything they could to ensure that they had a solid case for trial.
Wow. Incredible. We love to see police doing their jobs correctly.
It's so funny. The prosecutors were like, oh, maybe we can bully her into not doing this. But now once they're in, they're in. It's so fucked up.
Fuck.
Now, this case was actually the first case in South Africa history to use one-way glass as a way to identify attackers out of a lineup. Which sounds really weird that it would take them to the fucking 90s to do that, but sure.
Yeah, I guess they would just do it through two-way glass, I guess.
Well, no. Previous to this, victims would actually have to walk up and physically touch their attacker.
What?
Yeah. That's what I mean by I think they really didn't want to prosecute shit like rape. And
that sounds like they really, really, really wanted to only have it be illegal by the word of the law, not by the practice.
Yeah, it's fucked up. So police learned that it was obviously very, very traumatizing for victims to do this, so they eventually changed the method, and they have never gone back to the idea of having to physically touch your attacker.
Yeah, there's no fucking reason.
It's so stupid. But Alison said in interviews that even identifying them through the one-way glass there, she was still terrified.
Nope, that's still awful. To even have to look at their faces, to ever have to see them again is awful.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very re-traumatizing.
Well, the good news is Dutoit and Kruger were sentenced to life in prison, which was a rare sentence at the time in South Africa.
Yeah.
Right. And now the death penalty was deemed unconstitutional, so they weren't getting what I think they should have got, but that's just me. But I also go back to attempted murder shouldn't be a fucking thing. It's still murder. You just failed.
You know what? And you're fucking right about that.
I know. It doesn't make sense. Like,
right, it should be the same punishment.
Agreed. You tried to kill this woman.
Right, I feel like attempted fraud, like,
right,
would be the same charge, right?
Right. If I tried to steal your wallet, but you caught me, there should still be the same consequences as if I stole your wallet.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right, or like you rob a bank, but like don't get that much money. Like it's still the same charge. What?
Or if you go into a bank and hold a gun to the teller, but something happens and you run out before you get the money, that should still be the same charge. And I think it is.
And I don't know if it is. I don't know.
I think with the bank robbery, I think it is.
Who knows, man? Everything's fucked.
So Alison moved back in with her mother and worked on physical healing, but mentally, her healing was hard, and she fell into a pretty deep depression, which of course she blamed on Dutoit and Kruger, which they were 100% responsible for.
Of course. I mean, there's man, even after I had a relatively small injury a couple years ago, and I was in a deep depression healing from one part of my body that needed to heal. Your whole body had like her whole body was reconstructed.
Yeah. She's lucky to be alive. Like literally
Yeah.
her determination, it blows my mind. The idea of walking down the road holding your head on and your fucking guts inside.
It's just insane.
Yeah. It was around this time that Alison received her first invitation to tell her story in front of people at an event. And to her surprise, talking about it made her feel better. And she hasn't stopped sharing her story to this day.
That's amazing.
Tioni Ellard, the guy who rescued her, the one that was holding her hand, he decided after that day with her that he wanted to become a doctor. And he did.
Wow.
And the two of them have met up at numerous events since.
Wow.
In 1995, Alison won the prestigious Rotarian Paul Harris Award for Courage Beyond the Norm and Feminine. And that was from the magazine Women's of Courage Award.
It's a weird name for it, but
Yeah.
she was insanely brave.
Yes, and she also was honored as Port Elizabeth Citizen of the Year, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now, she also met a man named Tieni, which is really close to the guy who held her hand. Like the spelling's different, but it seems the same to me. And I can't find this guy's last name. Everything I find says that his last name is Botha, which is her birth name as well. But she met him and they married.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. I'm so happy for her.
yeah, it's very cool. I just don't know if the reporting is really bad out of there, and because it says that Botha was her birth name, but it also says Botha was his last name. So I don't know.
There's a chance it's a common last name there. I don't know.
It could be, and maybe, but it's weird. So I feel like I didn't do my due diligence, but I couldn't find anything telling me different.
It might be private by intention.
So the two of them had met the year after her attack while she was at a friend's house, and they have since had 2 sons named Daniel and Matthew. And this, of course, was after Alison was told she could never have children.
She was able to have children?
Yes.
Oh my God, that warms my heart so much.
It's crazy. Her survival story sounds like fiction.
It does. I am genuinely amazed.
Yeah. That's why, I mean,
I'm
again.
like, honestly, I'm like tearing up. Like, I'm like, I think it's just so incredible that her body was able to do that she was able to survive and that's beautiful. Ugh.
And one more heartwarming thing for you. Tiani, the guy who held her hand and became a doctor, assisted in the birth of her second child.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's really special.
So unfortunately, Alison and her husband divorced in 2009, but she has also since traveled all over the world sharing and meeting people, and she loves every minute of it.
I'm so glad. Oh.
She shares her story in the hopes that people will feel inspired to overcome their own obstacles. Then, popular writer Marianne Thamm approached Alison to write a book about her experiences, and in 1998, a book titled I Have Life, Alison's Journey was published. This book was so popular, it has since been translated into 7 different languages.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Likewise, in 2002, Alison published a second book called For the Tough Times, and she even participated in a documentary called Alison that was released in 2016.
Wow.
Now for some more annoying things. In October of 2015, Dutoit and Kruger became eligible for parole, but were not immediately released. Dutoit at one point asked to be forgiven by Alison, which she
fuck off so hard.
Which she obviously would not do, and he was reportedly outraged by this.
Ugh.
A social worker that had evaluated him noted, quote, "He doesn't understand why the victim does not want to forgive him for the crime committed against her because it happened so long ago.
Ugh.
He is of the opinion that he is a changed person and that if he can be given a second chance, he will prove himself to her." Unquote.
No fucking way. There's actually nothing you can do to redeem yourself after that.
No.
Bye.
No.
Die in prison. I don't care.
Dutoit tried to justify his crimes by saying that positive things came out of them as Alison has been able to save thousands of women from rape through her book, movie, and motivational talks.
First of all, I don't know if she's saved people from rape. She's probably helped them cope with it.
Yeah, he's out of his head. And
he can fuck right off with that.
And just wait for this last line. And he believes that he was able to sexually pleasure Alison better than her husband could, which is why their marriage ended in divorce.
Oh, kill him right now. Oh my God, kill him right now.
You're going to be so pissed.
Oh, kill him.
So that grotesque logic of his statement alone should have sent alarm bells ringing throughout the parole board. Instead, officials appear to have fallen for his alleged religious conversion, which, according to records, has ranged from Satanism and the occult to Rastafarianism and to some weird brand of Christianity at different points in time.
Oh, get fucked.
In 2023, without informing Alison, her attackers were released on parole.
Oh my fucking God, both of them?
Both of them. The reason
I'm so fucking mad.
I believe it. The reason that they provided for the release was, and get this shit, was because Alison consistently declined to meet with her rapist or participate in a program called the Victim Offender Dialogue Program.
Are you fucking shitting me?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I told you were going to be pissed.
Oh my God. Why the fuck would she...
Yeah.
I'm dumbfounded. I'm actually dumbfounded.
Yep. Again, South Africa. This isn't the 1990s anymore. It's 2023. But still.
Right.
However, their paroles were revoked in 2024 by the newly appointed Minister of Correctional Services, Dr. Peter Groenewald. So they're back in prison. Yeah, fuck that. I couldn't believe it when I read they were released.
Yeah, genuine disbelief.
Also in 2024, Alison had an aneurysm and underwent numerous brain surgeries. She received overwhelming support from the community and has had to relearn how to walk, feed herself, and perform basic tasks.
Oof.
And as always, she has pulled through and is grateful to still be among us.
What a badass.
Right? And for anyone
What
else,
an incredible woman.
She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Very inspiring. And anyone that uses TikTok, she has one. If you want to go see her posts, her username is Alison Botha. And that is the case of Alison Botha.
What a woman. I am just
stunned,
amazed by her. And oh my God.
Yeah, crazy case. It's so hard. Like, it's so hard to believe that she survived the injuries she received. It's kind of hard not to believe in a higher power at certain points.
The higher power is her.
And
she is the higher power.
But there's a lot of luck with her injuries missing all the important stuff.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
And that she was able to still have kids after when they deliberately
went after that area.
Tried to go after her reproductive organs is crazy.
Yeah. And the fact that they let those two out, even for a year, blows my fucking mind.
I'm surprised there wasn't any vigilante justice in that year.
You know, there should have been. But again, South Africa, and these guys are white guys too. So they're probably not like blending into the crowd. They should have been relatively easy to spot. You know?
Right. Well, I don't know. I think depends where you are in South Africa, but I don't know.
I was going to say, I don't know what the population of Port Elizabeth is like. So yeah, that's a good point. because it's not Cape Town, and that's the big one where it's like a lot of white people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know, but all I know is, yeah, they deserve to die, in my opinion.
That is for sure. Brutally, painfully.
Yeah, they should have their genitalia stabbed 37 times.
Right. It's like sometimes I do wish were a little more
barbaric.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like by being too civilized, it's almost uncivilized. You know what I mean?
I do. Believe me. But then we're on a slippery slope when we get into that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We have to be better than those, but I personally don't want to be.
Yes, exactly.
All right. With that said, before we say anything incriminating.
Yeah.
All right.
Oops.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us once again. I am Janus Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.